Hey, what's up guys? John here. What is credit and how does credit really work? We're in this inflationary environment. The world's getting much more expensive and many people are being forced to take on these predatory interest rates through these credit card companies because they don't know what else to do. Many of them are saying, well, what options do I have? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what credit is and what you could potentially do to increase your credit score and how you could potentially come out of this debt-free. My goal with Cash Not a Video is to help 1 million people fix their credit and improve their situation with great education and incredible customer service via credit repair. Now, what we are noticing right now is people don't understand what credit is and how credit really works. In this video, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Credit allows you to borrow funds in order to purchase goods and services right away and pay the money back later, often with interest. However, if you have a credit score that is deemed low, you are going to most likely get less money and you're going to pay a lot more for that money. If you have great credit, you are in many cases going to get the loan and you're going to get that loan at a very low interest rate, making things much easier for you on your life. Now here's how credit breaks down. A poor credit score is between 300 and 579. A fair credit score is between 580 and 669. Good credit is between 670 and 739. Very good credit is between 740 and 799. And excellent credit is between 800 and 850. Now, what I am seeing, and I'm sure you are seeing the same thing, is that inflation and cost of living is getting out of control. And many Americans are being forced to put these costs on a credit card. And many credit card companies are charging between 20 and 25% interest to borrow this money. And so what does this look like for the everyday American? Well, for every dollar that they borrow, they pay back $3 if they're making the minimum payments. Now that is shocking. It's a real shocking reality that Americans are going through right now. If they have $10,000 in credit card debt and they are paying back minimum payments, they're going to pay back $35,000, $10,000 to pay down the debt, and then $25,000 goes directly to interest. Now, to put this into perspective, what do wealthy Americans do that have great credit? You know, very good to excellent, between 740 and 850. Well, what they are doing is they are borrowing money at 4% interest or 5% interest, and they're investing that money. They're taking the money from the bank, the lending institution, and investing it into a business or into a real estate investment that's going to produce them a 10% return or a 12% return. So if they buy $1 million property, they may make $100,000 or $120,000 per year on that one investment. Now what the credit card company is doing is they are taking $1 million of their own money and they're lending it out to Americans that don't have money and charging those Americans $200,000 or $250,000 per year. So if you think about the amount of money that they're making on people that simply don't have money, it's really, really shocking. And so what can you do? Well, what you can do is look at your credit report and you can look for errors in your report because 79% of all Americans have errors on their credit report. This could negatively impact your ability to obtain a loan that, matches your profile. Meaning, you might have great credit, but there could be one error and now they believe that you have bad credit. And so really looking at your credit report and making sure that there's no errors and that everything is 100% accurate. That is something that everyone should be doing to just be sure that there's nothing holding you back from advancing. The second thing that you could be doing is if you do have credit card debt, for example, maybe you have a $10,000 balance, you could, in many cases, you can borrow money from another credit card company and take that money and transfer it. So you can take $10,000 from a credit card company that's charging you 21% interest and transfer that money to another credit card. And this would then allow you to pay this card off inside of 6 months or 12 months, making very, very big payments every single month, maybe $800 per month. However, at the end, you will then be debt-free and you will have no interest payments. This is something that a lot of people should be looking into right now because as the world gets more expensive, you are going to want to have less debt. And so one of the easy ways to do that could be applying for one of these cards to see if you would get approved. Now, many of these cards will ask that your credit score hits a certain threshold, normally around 700 or 720. So if your credit score is below that, we would love to help you at cashnow.video to help you get on the path of becoming debt-free and improving your circumstances. Right now, what we are also seeing is the market is changing, the economy is changing, real estate is changing, and as that's happening, what normally happens during recessions and economic downturns is that huge opportunity comes into the real estate space. So if you're renting a place right now and you would love to be able to buy your first property, the opportunity to buy a property is probably coming right around the corner. And so what you want to have is great credit. You ideally want to be debt-free or very close to debt-free, and you want to have an idea as to what you should be doing. If we look at 2008 and the 2009 housing crash, what happened was property values really fell and they became affordable for everyday Americans, but banks really tightened up on who was able to actually get loans because they just took a lot of losses. And so if you didn't have great credit, there's a good chance you would not be able to get a loan. Now, what I believe is going to happen again is a very similar circumstance. You're going to need great credit to be able to get a loan. And banks are going to be very, very cautious on who they lend money to. And so when we look at what a credit score is, you have to ask yourself, if we're moving into a direction of uncertainty and the world's getting much more expensive, what can you do to increase your credit score and to increase the ability that you'll be able to borrow money at low interest rates? Because if you look at what the wealthy do, the wealthy borrow money at low interest rates and buy real estate and investments. And everyone else is borrowing money at 20 or 25% interest to just get by. It's impossible, in my belief, to become successful if you are borrowing money at 20 or 25% interest, which is what a lot of these credit card companies are doing. So if you want to get debt free, if you want to improve your circumstance, there's many ways to do this, but great credit is one of the easiest ways to make the rest a reality.